Our film editor, Lisa Nisselson, joins me in the studio. Lisa, hello.
Hello.
Thank you for being with us. Now, the CESAR Awards is France's answer to the Oscars, and they're announcing their selection today, the nominations. Tell us about them. The French do it differently, don't they? They don't really model this. Do they model it really on the Oscars?
I'd say they really don't, because this is the 39th edition, so it's less than half as old as the Oscars are. And the major difference is that it's not a commercial enterprise, so there's no advertising. You don't have to worry about offending advertisers, so people can say and do virtually anything they want to. Which they do, absolutely. And it's very relaxed, and there's no censorship. And it's named for the sculptor CESAR, who made the statuettes. It's just very freewheeling. So here's, despite her name, Cécile de France is going to be the mistress of ceremonies, or the host this year. So we have her speaking this morning about what that was like to be named to do that, and also, unsurprisingly, the head of the Academy about why he believes, and I agree with him, that she'll be presiding over some good choices. Let's watch.
It's a big honor. To give this role to a Belgian is the proof of France's generosity. I'm very honored, and I hope to live up to the role.
We really have exceptional cinema in France. When I read, and excuse me for saying this, articles telling us French cinema isn't doing well, I say hats off, well done, and respect to French artists.
Coup de chapeau, bravo et respect aux artistes français.
Now, this has been a huge year for one actor, and that's Guillaume Gallienne. His first film, Me, Myself and Mum, in which he plays himself and his mother, is up for Best Film, Best First Film, Best Director, Best Actor, among other awards. Why was this movie such a huge hit?
I have no idea. No, there's 10 awards in all, and Guillaume Gallienne is just beloved. He's very, very versatile and very, very talented. He's a permanent member of the troupe of the Comédie Française. He's on TV. He's on radio. This movie is adapted from his own one-man stage show, autobiographical, which ran for 2 years, and in which the basic premise is that his mother, for some reason, just always assumed he was gay from the time he was a little boy, and he took her word for it. So here's the man himself to tell us more.
I've already talked this through with the psychologist and did so for a few years. That's not why I made this film. It's not just to tell my life story. I just thought it was a funny story. And I also realized there's a lot of people who have gone through the same thing, who were labeled with a sexuality before being able to discover for themselves.
Meanwhile, it's out in the US at the very moment. Blue is the warmest colour. It's been winning awards ever since it was shown in Cannes in May. Is it still the front runner?
For me personally, I still think it's the best film that was made in France in 2013. The members of the Academy may beg to differ, and they have 7 movies to choose from in all. But it has 8 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Director for Abdelatif Kechiche, who also wrote it. Adele Exarchopoulos is only up for Most Promising Newcomer, because you're not allowed to be also nominated for Best Actor and Most Promising Newcomer, and of course Léa Seydoux for Best Actress. I think it's a touching, extraordinary movie that happens to last 3 hours, but it goes by in a flash. See it if you haven't.
Definitely. Now, if there ever was a news hook, Julie Gayet's selection as Best Supporting Actress does qualify. It's rather interesting timing there.
Yes, but it has nothing to do with the scandal that recently broke, in which she is alleged to be the mistress of President François Hollande. That's because the members of the Academy sent in their ballots before the alleged scandal broke. And I'm glad to have this chance to set the record straight, because the New York Times referred to her as an actress who had played a prostitute, a drug addict, and a lesbian, and that's all true, but she's been in over 80 movies, and in Bertrand Tavernier's Quai d'Orsay, she is really, really good as the chief advisor on Africa to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, a very different role than a drug addict.
Definitely a very different role. Lisa, are there any other nominations that you're pleased about?
I am very, very pleased that a flat-out outrageous comedy by Albert Dupontel called 9 Month Stretch is in the running. It's up for original screenplay, and it's very, very, very original. It's about a very uptight judge who finds out that she's pregnant and has no idea how that happened, and she tries to get to the bottom of it.
An interesting one, that there. We'll have to see if it wins. Lisa Nisselson, thank you very much for that culture update. And it's time for us now to move to sports. Moving to a very different world.